You just became the leader of the world's #1 class organization. But you were informed by the system that you had crossed into a female-oriented tragedy world. Your childhood sweetheart abandoned you at the birthday party, just to comfort the male lead who is struggling at work. What's most frustrating is that the damn system wants you to swallow your anger. Otherwise, you'd definitely be publicly humiliated by the male lead. You chuckled and directly silenced the system. Does the destined villain need to listen to a female-oriented system babbling? Childhood sweetheart's betrayal. The next day, I'll ruin her family and leave them dead. True and fake young master, white moonlight substitute, all of you can die. In the largest bar in the imperial capital at that moment, the DJ held the microphone and shouted loudly, "Tonight, all expenses will be covered by the young master Su. Let's wish Prince Qin a happy birthday." Cheers instantly filled the air. In the private room on the second floor, you were sitting on the sofa, holding a glass of foreign wine. Your eyes narrowed slightly as you gazed outside the window. Qin's friend Bai Yi was smoking and glanced at the watch on his wrist. He couldn't help but furrow his brows. What's going on? Wasn't today's event organized by the Lin sisters? They said it was a birthday party specially arranged for you. It's already this late, where are they? The Lin sisters that Bai Yi mentioned are Lin Yuqing and Lin Yue. They grew up with you as childhood sweethearts. They even competed and got jealous over who could marry you. Today's birthday party was also organized by the two sisters. It had been booked several months ago. But who knew that when the time came, the two sisters would go missing again? This really ticked you off. You dislike being stood up. Bai Yi extinguished the cigarette between his fingers. Then he habitually started scrolling through his social media. Suddenly, his eyes caught something. My phone almost slipped from my grasp in shock. What's wrong? You leaned against the sofa, looking at Bai Yi. Bai Yi seemed to understand as you stared at him. He forced out a somewhat awkward smile. You can see for yourself. After saying that, he sighed lightly and handed you the phone. At the top was a post from Lin Yue in her social circle. The background was at the beach. The location was a small island somewhere abroad. On the beach at night, 3 people were holding hands. They were gathered around a bonfire. Lin Yue, Lin Yuqing, and Fu Yuxuan. Their smiles were radiant. The caption read, "Poor little brother. Just graduated and can't find a job. Took my brother out to relax. Hope Yuxuan is always happy." There was also a smiley emoji added. You just checked your own social circle. But there wasn't this message. It was clear that these two had blocked you. Bai Yi took the phone from the side. He angrily dialed Lin Yue's number. The phone rang for a long time, but no one answered. Bai Yi didn't give up and made 2 more calls in succession. Until the prompt tone was about to end. The call was answered. There was a strong wind on the other end of the line. It was even mixed with the sound of waves. "Lin Yue, what happened to you two?" Bai Yi spoke up with a questioning tone right away. Lin Yue on the other end couldn't help but frown. Her voice also took on a hint of displeasure. "Bai Yi, are you questioning me?" Bai Yi suppressed his anger. "Don't you know what day it is today?" Listening to Bai Yi's words, the voice on the other end paused for a moment. You beckoned to the one in white with great interest. Understanding your intention, Bai Yi handed the phone over to you. You calmly opened your mouth to say something. At that moment, the voice on the other side sounded a bit flustered. "Young Master Qin, my sister and I have something urgent. So we couldn't attend your birthday banquet today. Your so-called urgent matter is just a scholarship student going abroad for a date, right?" You interrupted Lin Yue's voice. Lin Yue couldn't help but frown when she heard the words, "date." "How can you think like that?" At that moment, another female voice came through the microphone. "Yes, Yuxuan has been an orphan since he was little. He doesn't have many people he knows. He just graduated recently and has been struggling to find a job. He's quite pitiable all alone. That's why my sister and I just took Yuxuan out for some fresh air. Brother Liang, can't you be less petty?" This is the voice of Lin Yue's sister, Lin Yuqing. Immediately after, you heard a teasing voice. "Sister Yue's sister Yuqing. Is it because I upset your brother? Why don't you just go back first? I'm fine on my own." Lin Yue quickly reassured. "How could we possibly leave you here all alone?" Saying this, Lin Yue spoke to you on the other end of the phone. Her tone carried a hint of coldness. "Can you stop being unreasonable? It's just a birthday, after all. At worst, we can celebrate with you when we get back." You cleared your ears, finding it somewhat amusing. "It seems you've been too accommodating towards them. Lin Yue. You must have gained some courage, huh? How dare you speak to me like that?" It seems Si Ping caught the displeasure in your tone. Lin Yue opened her mouth, wanting to explain something. But the call had already been disconnected. "We're just listening to nonsense. Some things, once done, cannot be undone. The Lin family will also pay the price for the actions of these two sisters. Your Qin family is the wealthiest family in the capital. The family's influence involves more than just business. It also has a red background. It eats both the black and white markets. One could say it wields immense power. especially after you came of age and took over the family business. Their power escalated even further. As for the Lin family, where Lin Yue and Lin Yuqing are from, it's just an ordinary wealthy family. It can't even be considered a prominent family. In the eyes of true heirs of notable families, it's just a nouveau riche who got lucky. The connection between the two families started in childhood. You lived in a villa in the outskirts with your grandmother. Back then, the Lin family lived next door. The younger generation got along well. Thus, the two families built some friendship. At that time, your grandmother quite liked those two girls. She even mentioned wanting you to marry one of them in the future. Over the years, due to you, the prominent families in the capital have given them some face. It seems that now they've really lost touch with reality. To be honest, it's just a birthday party and doesn't mean much. You have no feelings for those two either. Love comes and goes. But it was clearly their idea to hold the birthday party. In the end, they took a green tea guy abroad for a trip on that day. Everyone in the circle knows that the two sisters from the Lin family belong to you. This time it's not just about them standing you up. It's also about the Lin sisters trampling on the Qin family's reputation. Do you really think your buddy has no temper? Since you can't recognize what's good for you, your Lin family is done for. He tossed the phone to Bai Yi. You spoke with a calm expression, indifferent. No need to pay attention to it. Since they want to court disaster, helping me is naturally to fulfill their desires. Bai Yi understands. From now on, there will be no place for the Lin family in China. A Lin family that relies on the Su family to show off their power. They can't tell what's important and dare to offend your face. Then all the consequences are self-inflicted. You're right. The Lin sisters' lack of foresight is their loss. Thankfully, I came prepared today. Bai Yi also started to laugh and then clapped his hands. Suddenly, the tightly shut door was pushed open. The renowned female celebrity in the outside world. More than a dozen female models lined up to enter the private room. Bai Yi leaned on the sofa and then gestured towards you. Today is the birthday of young Master Qin. Take good care of young Master Tai. You'll greatly be rewarded. As soon as the words were said, the girls' eyes lit up. The way they looked at you instantly softened and even became flirtatious. The girls rushed over. You didn't refuse either. Holding one in each hand. Enjoying the girls' attentions. For a moment, the private room was quite lively. But just at that moment, a notification sound suddenly echoed in your mind. Detected that the host is experiencing this abusive plot. Happiness system binding successful. Your expression momentarily changed. After traveling through this world for 20 years, I finally heard the term system. However, the system is no different from garbage to you. After you traveled through this world, it felt as if you awakened a comprehension buff. Your fortune is incredibly strong. As long as you want to learn something, you will definitely be able to learn it. And effortlessly stood at the top. As long as you want to do something, you will surely succeed. It's as if heaven is making way for you. You guessed back in childhood. Maybe I was the one who got it. A template like the ones in male-oriented power fantasy novels. At least your life has been smooth sailing from childhood to now. And now you finally encountered some setbacks. Even the matter with the Lin sisters doesn't even count as a setback for you. At most, it's just slightly disgusting. You don't care about the Lin sisters. There have been far too many women around you since childhood. System. What use are you? You ask in your mind. Soon, the mechanical nature of the system. The word repeat once again echoed in your mind. The Japanese system is the happiness system. As the name suggests, it aims to reverse the misfortunes of the present world. As long as the host helps the protagonist reverse the tragedy and embark on a happy life, they can receive monetary rewards from the system. It can help the host amass over 100 million in assets in a short time, leading to the peak of life. Assets over 100 million. What a cruel system. Is this going to ruin my family? Detected that the host is currently experiencing a storyline of suffering. Childhood sweethearts can't compete with fate. A task is hereby issued. Option 1, the host immediately goes abroad. Go to the vacation island and publicly propose to the Lin sisters. Move the Lin sisters with sincerity. Make them understand that the host is the one who truly loves them. Finally achieving happiness. Note, there is a chance it may have the opposite effect and be detested. Completing the task rewards 10 million in cash. Option 2. The host will completely sever ties with the Lin sisters from today. In the following month. Quietly going abroad. Playing hard to get to force the Lin sisters to realize their true feelings. Staging a regret rejecting lover trope. Note. This option is guaranteed to succeed. The Lin sisters are deeply in love with the host. V only needs an opportunity to recognize their true feelings. This option will complete the task afterward. Reward, 50 million in cash and a 3-bedroom apartment in the suburbs of the Imperial City. Please make a choice, host. Moving towards a happy life. After looking through this series of options, you only felt your vision go dark. A trace of doubt filled your heart. Damn it. This system is off. What kind of bizarre options are these? One hot dog. The other is a green tea male who plays hard to get. It means leaving the Lin sisters behind. One won't be happy on their own. What do the Lin sisters even mean? Do they even deserve it? You're quite shocked. I never expected this. There's actually this disgusting option. The system must have malfunctioned, right? What's even more absurd is 10 million, plus 50 million and a suburban 3-bedroom. Even the dogs of the Su family would shake their heads at such rewards. Host. Please do not doubt this system's professionalism. The bound person cannot be wrong. Please make your choice as soon as possible, host. Meanwhile, on the vacation island, watching Lin Yue hang up the phone. Her expression even has a bit of tension. Lin Yuqing couldn't help but ask. What did Brother Liang say? Lin Yue's expression looked somewhat unpleasant. Ollie seems to be angry. Their tone wasn't very nice just now. Didn't we just come out to help Yue relax? What's the big deal? Lin Yuqing said dissatisfied. That's right, we're not his accessories. Are we really only allowed to keep him trapped? Lin Yue shook her head and took a deep breath. We have all gone abroad. Even if brother doesn't care about our safety, it's fine. They even make a big deal out of trivial matters. Humph, I won't talk to him for 3 days. Fu Yuza stepped forward. He showed a look of guilt. I'm sorry, Yue and Yuqing. It's all because of me. As he spoke, he couldn't help but lower his head, his eyes red. It's all because I'm useless. I can't even find a job. I wanted to go abroad to relax, but I couldn't even register. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had to trouble my 2 sisters to bring me. As he spoke, he raised his head. And I also thought that the 3 sisters work so hard every day. It would be nice to come out and have some fun. But I didn't expect it to make your brother angry. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Fu Yuza is a beneficiary of the Qin family's charity work. At that time, the Lin family had a relatively good relationship with the Qin family. You have so many things to busy yourself with every day. Therefore, the matters of the charity foundation were entrusted to the Lin sisters, Lin Yue and Lin Yuqing. It was also at this time that the Lin sisters met Fu Yuza. Fu Yuza also relied on his tea art skills to make the Lin sisters very happy. Seeing Fu Yuza's self-reproachful expression, both sisters began to feel a bit more at ease. Lin Yue spoke even more gently. This matter has nothing to do with you. It's Ollie who is being too petty. That's right, Yuza, you don't need to blame yourself. Lin Yuqing also chimed in from the side. But I really am quite useless. I truly apologize for the sisters' nurturing. I can't even find a job. Chuan Yuza let out a deep sigh. The 2 sisters exchanged glances at this. It seemed like Ping had made some decision. If not, in a few days when we return, Yushuan can come to the Qin group. How about being my secretary? Lin Yue said. Although it's the Qin family's business, due to the good relationship between the 2 families. Therefore, after graduation, both sisters joined the Qin group to work in the charity sector. Fu Yushuan's eyes lit up upon hearing this. As the leading enterprise in the capital, the scale of the Qin group is absolutely unimaginable. However, the Qin group has extremely strict hiring standards. Even the doormen have graduated from prestigious universities. He, an ordinary second-tier university student, being able to enter the Qin group, would definitely be a stroke of luck. Can I really do this? Lin Yue gently supported Fu Yuje's head, her gaze warm. Of course. At least I'm a manager at the Qin Corporation. Just as secretary, AMO won't say anything about it. Lin Yue's tone was firm. As if she had you completely figured out. The moon hung high in the sky, beside the beach and the campfire. The Lin sisters appeared harmonious and calm with Fu Yuje here. But the Lin family was not having a good night at all. Inside the brightly lit villa, Lin Yue's father, Lin Xiao, was pulled away by a phone call. What? The investors pulled out. Lin Xiao's eyes widened in disbelief, full of incredulity. On the other end of the line was Lin Xiao's secretary. Their voice now carried a sobbing tone. Yes, boss. And it's not just one. All the investors who had partnerships with us. They just called to say they want to withdraw their investment. How is that possible? Lin Xiao didn't believe it. The progress of the project in his hands was already more than halfway done. If all the investors withdraw their funds, then there will be huge difficulties in terms of funding. And with the current cash flow he has, it is simply not enough to cover such a big hole. If things go badly, it could lead to bankruptcy. Moreover, weren't these people initially choosing to cooperate with him because of the Qin family? The project is now halfway through. Are they not afraid that the Qin family will cause them trouble after they get what they want? Although Lin Xiao didn't understand much, he had at least seen his fair share of storms in life. He didn't believe anyone would dare to provoke the Qin family on their home turf in the capital. The reputation of the top family in the capital is not something that can be taken lightly. It's impossible. Did you hear it wrong? How could they suddenly withdraw their investment? Boss. Really not. I heard it very clearly. Each of the 6 investors had a similar script. They said our project has safety hazards. We must terminate the partnership. Lin Xiao slammed his palm on the desk. Anger caused veins to bulge one after another across his entire face. Something is not right about this. Someone must be trying to mess with me, Lin Xiao. What did the Qin family say? Lin Xiao yelled into the phone. The secretary's voice was hesitant. The connection was made. Lin Xiao abruptly hung up the phone. He was anxious like an ant on a hot pan. He flipped through his contacts. He found your phone number. Unable to reach the secretary. Then he will come himself. Although he couldn't understand what was happening. But right now, you're the only one who can help him. The phone's ringing echoed continuously. But there were no signs of it being answered on the other end. Lin Xiao's hands were trembling. He impatiently dialed your number again and again. Did not answer. Did you fall asleep? Answer quickly. On the other side, there was reckless revelry. Bai Yi noticed your phone on the table flashing. Hey, brother. Your phone. Bai Yi looked at you, who was drinking. You glanced and a subtle smile appeared at the corner of your mouth. Lin Yuanlin is dense. That guy still dares to call. Like father, like daughter. The Lin sisters flaunt their power so arrogantly. It's also not without genetic inheritance. Relying on the connection between the Lin and Qin families. Lin Xiao is also domineering outside. He has gained quite a few benefits. His reputation isn't very good. He has even claimed multiple times to the outside world. In the future, he aims to marry into the Qin family. To gain status in high society. If they truly became one family, you would naturally protect the Lin family. At least ensuring the Lin family lives without worry and in wealth for a lifetime. But since they don't know what's good for them, then don't blame yourself for being ruthless. Even a dog knows who its master is, right? You picked up the phone and chose to answer. On the other end of the line, Lin Xiao was about to cry. Xiao Mo. You finally answered the call. I just received the news. Those investors have secured funding. Uncle Lin. I know about this matter. You're too lazy to beat around the bush. Straight to the point. The investors have run away. That was their own decision. To be honest, I'm quite surprised by their instinct. I just made my statement. And they made their choice. Lin Xiao was stunned, his tone filled with anxious inquiry. A small amount. What you said, you just made a statement. What does that mean? Go ask your 2 lovely daughters. On the other side, Lin Xiao stared blankly at the disconnected call. As if the sky had fallen. It's obvious that everything happening to the Lin family now is due to your statement. What kind of international joke is this? If the Qin family takes action against the Lin family, can a newly wealthy man even survive this? At this thought, Lin Xiao felt a bit uneasy. What on earth happened today? Could it be that you had a conflict with your 2 daughters? Fortunately, today's events were not kept under wraps. Therefore, it's quite easy to investigate. Lin Xiao, sitting in the villa, nervously smoked a cigarette. Soon, he understood the ins and outs of the whole situation. At that moment, Lin Xiao was dumbfounded. He even doubted whether there was something wrong with his ears. He asked his assistant. So what you're saying is, Yue and Yuqing stood up Xiao Mo today. They even went abroad to play with Fu Yuza. Yes boss. Less than half an hour after this happened, all the investors we work with announced they would make payments. The assistant replied. Unable to hold back, Lin Xiao slammed his palm down on the table. Nonsense. What on earth are these 2 girls doing? Lin Xiao was furious. He is aware of who Fu Yuza is as well. Recently, Lin Yue and Lin Yuqing even brought him back for a meal once. That time, Lin Xiao sensed something was off. But he didn't pay much attention to it. After all, for someone like him, it's not unusual for wealthy people to keep a pretty boy. It's really not a big deal. So he just thought the 2 girls were looking for some excitement. But who would have thought things would escalate to this point? These 2 idiots actually offended the Qin family over a pretty boy. Have they lost their minds? Lin Xiao was shaking with anger. He pulled out his phone and personally called his daughter. Lin Xiao clenched his fist tightly, waiting for the moment the call is connected. This time, the call was connected quickly. The one who answered was Lin Yuqing. You little brat. I don't care what you are doing. Come back to the country right now. Lin Xiao's voice was ungracious. It even mixed with a roar of anger. Lin Yuqing was dismissive of this. Don't take it too seriously. We're just accompanying Yuje to relax a bit. What's so surprising about that? Are you trying to ruin our Lin family? Lin Beer's eyes are full of anger. We know about this matter. Brother Mo was just saying that out of anger. Since childhood, my brother has always spoiled me. So don't take it to heart. A few days later, after my sister and I come back, we will make up for Brother Mo's birthday. It will be fine with some coaxing. Lin Yuqing and her sister grew up with you since childhood. They believe they know you well enough. After all, you rarely get angry. He is especially tolerant towards many things. You wouldn't argue with them over such trivial matters. Especially when it comes to the Lin sisters. Your attitude is completely different. Since childhood, only the Lin family has been able to get close to you. Therefore, the two sisters are certain. You won't quarrel with them over such a small matter. It's just that you felt a bit sorry for Yuza, right? What's the big deal? Besides, so many people help celebrate your birthday every year. So many people have messages. And Yuza has been an orphan since childhood. When he gets hurt, he can only be alone. Lonely, hiding in a corner, silently feeling sad. Comparatively, it's clear that Yuza lacks care more. Lin Yuqing acknowledged. As long as I explain these things to you clearly, you will definitely understand. Lin's eyes widened in surprise. I really can't imagine my daughter L. What kind of thought process is this? But the next moment, a male voice came through the phone. Listening to that weak and feeble tone is just nauseating. Sister Yuqing. I'll barbecue for you. Give it a try. Come. I'll feed you. Yuza is really obedient. His cooking skills are also very good. Lin Xiao took a deep breath. Lin Yuqing. Do you have to make me angry before you let it go? Now Lin Yuqing was also getting a bit impatient. It's clearly her own dad. It's one thing not to care about me and my sister, but to point fingers at us as soon as you arrive. Even a clay figure gets angry at some point. I just don't understand. Why do you have to criticize me and my sister as soon as you arrive? Since you all think we've done something wrong, then there's no need to discuss it. We will go back and explain this to Brother Liang in a few days. You don't need to worry about it. After she finished speaking, Lin Yuqing hung up the phone without hesitation. No matter how much Lin Xiao called. And no one answered. It wasn't just Lin Yuqing who was like this. Lin Yue was the same. Lin was about to go crazy with frustration. He couldn't imagine that his two daughters would actually behave like this. Originally, there was great luck in having a connection with the Zhou family. They could even become in-laws with the Tai family in the future. Even your grandmother looks favorably on this marriage. By all accounts, it should have been a sure thing. Who would have known that at the critical moment? Suddenly someone like Fu Yujie would appear. If you like pretty boys, at least keep it private. Can't you do it without being discovered? You even posted it in your friend's circle. Do you really think the Qin family is stupid? Lin Zhao's cheeks flushed with anger. He slammed his phone onto the sofa. Breathing heavily, he ordered sternly. Stop the cards for Yue and Yuqing. Send someone to the vacation island to bring the young ladies back for me. And also bring back that Fu Yuza. After all, he is someone who fought for everything with his bare hands. Naturally, he has some tricks up his sleeve. Lin Yue and Lin Yuqing must return to the country as soon as possible. Then go apologize to you. How much money will be lost if the construction site is shut down for a day? Lin Xiao could hardly bear to think about it. Also, prepare some fine gifts for me. Tomorrow morning, I will personally visit the Qin family. After a night of revelry, you return to your villa with the driver accompanying you. You don't like living in the Sihiyuan. Therefore, you chose to live in the Yulo manor. Young master, about the Lin sisters. Do you want me to handle it? The driver following behind was told to stop the car. Long Zhantian couldn't help but ask. This is your driver and personal bodyguard. This person's experiences are outrageous. If placed among many urban novels, he would surely have a resounding title, the Dragon King. In his youth, he was adopted by the Qin family as a death warrior. He also underwent hellish training. He even participated in mercenary work. He was hailed as the Grim Reaper who roamed the battlefield. Moreover, with the help of the Qin family, he established a security company spanning 7 countries. When Long Zhantian returned home to be your personal bodyguard, he had some grievances. He could die for the Qin family, but he was unwilling to waste his skills like that. He could only fall to the position of a security guard. You deeply know that to impress such exceptional talents, there is only one way, to crush them with absolute power. At that time, you, only 16 years old, went abroad alone, and had a good match against Long Zhantian. From military training and troop deployment, to close combat fighting techniques like QXJ, in every aspect, you seem like a flawless existence. You crushed the proud Long Zhantian with absolute superiority. From that day on, a ghostly terror was lost on the foreign battlefield, and by your side, an inseparable shadow has appeared. Long Zhantian is very capable in getting things done. If there were no crazy people like you in this world, he would undoubtedly be the protagonist of this world. Therefore, Long Zhantian deeply earns your trust. And to Long Zhantian, you are more like an untouchable god. He truly admires this man from the bottom of his heart. Plus, the Tai family has immense favor towards him. From the day he was born, his life has belonged to the Qin family. Therefore, he does not allow anyone to offend the dignity of the Qin family, not even the Lin sisters. In his view, betraying the young master would only lead to one outcome. They are still abroad. I can make them disappear completely without anyone noticing. Long Zhantian said softly. You haven't replied yet. The system in your mind was starting to get restless. A mechanical-like sound quickly echoed in your mind. Host. You cannot do this. The Lin sisters still love you at heart. Moreover, this is just a class meeting. Only after resolving the class meeting can you lead a happy life. You couldn't help but laugh in your mind. Are you teaching me how to do things? System. All the people in the world who like me. Those who want to sit in the position of the Qin family's wife. There are at least 1,000 or 800 of them, right? Am I supposed to take good care of all of them? But the Lin sisters are the destined ones for the host. The system's mechanical voice sounded again. Destined? You disdainfully shook your head. So, what if I don't follow your options? Will I be punished by heaven? The system wants to say something more. You're getting annoyed by it. With a wave of your hand, the system's voice completely vanished in an instant. System, she missed it. What happened? I've only ever heard about the system PB host. But how did it turn around today? Are you kidding? You're too lazy to care about this mediocre system. Started to think about whether to let the Lin sisters disappear without a trace. After a moment of silence, you waved your hand, saying it's not urgent. Long Zhantian didn't quite understand what you meant. You looked at Long Zhantian. Death is not the only way to erase a person. Dying too easily. Isn't that too boring? But you can collect some interest first. You said calmly. I actually want to see what the sisters care about at the brink of life and death. What choice Fu Yuza, whom the two sisters care about, will make. Long Zhantian seemed to understand something. A bloodthirsty smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. I understand now, young master. Haha, after the bright Long Zhantian. You returned to the villa. Just after giving birth, the phone rang loudly. The caller was none other than his grandmother. Your parents have been very busy with work since you were little. I was raised by my grandmother. Therefore, you are deeply attached to your grandmother. This time, grandmother came to discuss the matter of the Lin sisters with you. Xiaoma, don't misunderstand. Although I am old, I am not stubborn. I know that young people advocate for free love nowadays. So if you don't like it, you don't have to consider my reputation. I have already heard from the butler about the Lin sisters matter. This was indeed wrong of them. You felt relieved upon hearing this. You were originally pondering how to explain this to the old lady. After all, the old lady is the most cherished person in your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't have given the Lin sisters so much preferential treatment for the grandmother's sake. Given the Lin sisters so many favors. Don't worry, grandmother. I know how to handle this matter. You responded. After hanging up the phone, you relaxed. Now, the final obstacle has disappeared. The Lin family must be destroyed. But before that, you need to properly confront this so-called system. You lit a Y for yourself. Amidst the heavy smoke, you released your block on the system. The system immediately began to howl and wail. Host, how did you do it? This is impossible. Why can you block me? The system couldn't understand. It even felt a hint of fear. This man is completely different from the information it has. Even unconsciously, it seemed as if the identities of the system and the host had swapped. You gently flicked Y and calmly said, you don't need to worry about how I did it. I'm more curious about your origin. Host, the system is a gift from heaven for those treated unfairly by fate. An opportunity to change destiny. This is a grace from heaven. Facing your inquiry, the system said solemnly. You smiled and shook your head. Since you don't intend to tell the truth, let's confine it for a while. Who told you not to give the system a chance to speak again? Unilaterally block the system again. Mute that annoying voice of the system. You should wash up and rest early. You've had a long celebration today, and you're tired. The next morning, you wake up. Only then do you release the system again. Will you talk today? You continue to ask. Si Ping seemed to have thought of something. You say with interest. Words that were not intended to be said. Then let's discuss it again next week. By the way, if I'm not mistaken, the reason for the bond with me, and it gives the option to reconcile with the Lin sisters. It's because this option is beneficial to you, right? After a week. By then, the grass on their graves will likely be a meter high. By then, you won't gain any benefits at all. As soon as your words fall, the mechanical voice of the system sounds again. Host, please do not push the system too far. This system is destined by heaven. Don't you fear heavenly punishment? Fine, let heaven punish me then. You don't understand at all. Do you understand the value of being a child of destiny? Based on the numerous web novel experiences from my past life, I'm the standard male protagonist power fantasy template myself. It's obvious. Just my presence in this world is already an accident. And the fact that I've managed to grow up smoothly to this point is enough to prove that this world cannot judge you. Since that's the case, what are you still afraid of? This dog system is really good at giving itself money. Host, being too arrogant is not a good thing. Even if heaven can't punish you, the worst that can happen is that this system can just leave and never return. If I refuse to take this task, is that acceptable? You smiled upon hearing that. To be honest, you really are naive. I really don't know if you can escape or not. But you still need to complete the task, right? You want to possess the child of destiny, don't you? Whether people believe it or not, I can eliminate all the children of destiny in this world. The system clearly became a bit flustered upon hearing this. He also realized that you have the ability to do so. The system fell silent. But you don't want to indulge him. Joking aside, let's meet again in a week. At that time, I can take you to see how high the grass on the Lin sisters' graves has grown. Wait, this time the mechanical voice clearly had a hint of urgency. The system didn't know why things had evolved this way. Clearly, the Su family should have fallen into ruin. Instead, they became even more prosperous. Clearly, you should have been easily controlled by it. Yet, you have turned the tables and threatened it instead. But no matter what, since it's bound to you, there really is no way out. I can tell you anything you want to know. The system softened and a smile appeared at the corner of its mouth. Then go ahead and say it. Your origin and your purpose. After a long silence, the system spat out 2 words. Chisha. Once you become the child of the plane through the system's rewards, the system will extract half of your fortune. Hearing this, you frowned. In a second, the system's mechanical voice grew somewhat fearful. At the same time, a piercing alarm began to ring in your ears. Warning. System permissions are being breached. Underlying commands are being rewritten. You actually tampered with the system's underlying commands with your willpower. You will not allow anyone to take away your fortune. The system began to feel an inexplicable fear. What kind of monster is bound to it? From this moment on, the system completely belongs to you. However, unfortunately, the system's consciousness cannot be erased. But without permissions, it can't even do that. Any manipulation of the system's functions can only exist as an instruction manual. Master, I will be a good instruction manual and prompt for you. The system changed its usual arrogant tone. In a humble manner, I want to express my loyalty to you. The ladies from the Qin family also knocked on the door at this moment to remind you. Young master, it's time for breakfast. After understanding the essence of the system, you set it aside for now. Meanwhile, not far from the Yulong Manor Villa area, a Maybach is speeding towards this direction. Inside the car are Lin Rui and his young wife, BJ. Lin Zhao's eyes are dark, his expression haggard. Clearly, he didn't sleep well at all last night. Those investors have an overly keen sense. You just said one sentence. Not even an hour passed. Discussing the contract termination. Those who should withdraw investments are pulling out. Some partners are even willing to pay penalties. They no longer wish to cooperate with Lin Xiao. Even the construction site was shut down by officials this morning. The reason is that there are serious safety hazards at the construction site. Starting from today, the investigation will begin. No one is allowed to enter. Lin Zui is astonished by your power. It's only been one night. Everything seems to have turned upside down. Those who are usually high and mighty usually drag their feet. Officials who take months just to get something done. For the first time, it was so fast. Even not giving Lin Zui any time to react. Lin Zui also contacted old friends he had once made. But without exception, not a single person dared to answer Lin Zhao's call at this moment. This is the first time he has experienced the terror of power. It's despairing. He had also thought about contacting your grandmother. To have your grandmother persuade you. But unfortunately, the old lady didn't pay any attention to Lin Zui at all. With no other options, he could only prepare a generous gift. Early in the morning, he personally came to the Yulong Manor to apologize to you. The Lin family's car cannot enter the Yulong estate. Therefore, Lin Xiao and BJ had no choice but to stop in front of the barrier. They gazed towards the interior of the manor. Soon, they spotted the patrolling security. Lin Xiao hurriedly rang the doorbell. Brother, I am Lin Xiao. Please be kind and open the door for me, okay? Lin Xiao's shouts also attracted the attention of the security personnel inside the manor. The leader, codenamed Meng Hu, is a skilled operative personally trained by Long Zhantian. He once served in a security company for Long Zhantian. They call it a security company. In fact, it's a mercenary group disguised in sheep's clothing. Most of the security work for the Qin family is directly handled by their company. Not only is WL highly skilled, but also ruthless and merciless. A disdainful smile appeared at the corner of Meng Hu's mouth. The Lin family members are not the same as before. The Lin family used to have a protective shield. Meng Hu naturally respected the Lin family. But now, the Lin sisters are actively seeking their demise. Therefore, Meng Hu no longer needs to respect anyone from the Lin family. If it weren't for your lack of a warning, they could have completely made the Lin family mysteriously disappear from this world last night. Stepping up to the gate, Meng Hu looked Lin Wei up and down, then procedurally asked, "Do you have an appointment?" Lin Zhao's expression stiffened. "It seems there isn't one." "Then please leave. The young master is very busy, not just anyone can see him." Meng Hu was about to turn and leave. "Hey, young man, take a good look at me. I am Lin Zui, Xiao Mo's uncle. We've met before. I didn't need an appointment when I came to the Qin family before. Meng Hu smiled, tilting his head to look at Lin Xiao. You know it was in the past. Lin Xiao felt a bit ashamed all of a sudden. A trace of anger appeared on BJ's face. BJ is not the biological mother of the Lin sisters. She is only in her 30s today. She is Lin Zhao's young lover. BJ only rose to power after Lin Zhao's original wife died unexpectedly. But she doesn't understand any business matters. She's just a pure vase. Since marrying Lin Xiao, her status has risen along with it. Especially during the peak period. The wives of the aristocratic families in the capital would give her some recognition upon seeing her. But today, not only did she not see the main character, she was stopped outside by a group of XJ security guards. If this gets out, how will she, BJ, survive in the circle of aristocratic wives? I say, you are just a mere security guard. Do you dare to stop us? Do you know who we are? BJ couldn't help but curse loudly. In the future, my daughter will become the master here. I will also become your master's mother-in-law. Do you dare to treat us this way? As soon as these words were spoken, Meng Hu was stunned. He turned to look at his underlings behind him, with an expression as if his ears were malfunctioning. In an instant, the security personnel could not help but burst into laughter. Did I hear that right? Does she really think her Lin family can become the masters here? That's truly whimsical. I suggest you all go back and raise your pillows a bit. Daydreams aren't so easy to achieve. This is just hilarious. A bunch of nonsensical fools. BJ was so enraged by the security personnel's laughter that she was shaking all over. Such snobbish scum. Let me see if I won't tear your mouth apart. Saying this, BJ reached out through the door. She wanted to slap Meng Hu. But in the next moment, Meng Hu directly blocked BJ's palm. Mrs. Lin, don't be shameless. What do you think this place is? How dare you behave so insolently? As the words fell, a fierce light flashed in Meng Hu's eyes. The next moment, BJ's wrist was directly broken by Meng Hu. The sharp pain made my pupils suddenly constrict. She screamed hysterically. Lin Zhao's expression was also extremely ugly. Regardless, BJ is still Lin Zhao's wife. And you were raised by Lin Xiao. She can be considered your elder. As a result, an elder was beaten by a group of subordinates. Even though Lin Xiao came to apologize, he still felt angry at this moment. Just then, the commotion here also stirred the manor. You appeared at the manor's entrance. Upon seeing you, Lin Zhao's eyes lit up. Xiao Mo, come and take a look. Your subordinates can't distinguish between high and low status. You actually broke my wife's wrist. At this moment, Meng Hu turned around and immediately bowed to apologize. I'm sorry, young master. This woman is making unreasonable trouble here. I couldn't stand by, so. You raised your hand to stop Meng Hu's words. You then walked to the door as your henchman opened it. Outside the door, Lin Cho was supporting BJ, who had a smug smile on her face. Especially BJ. With a fierce gaze, she glared at Meng Hu, as if she wanted to eat him alive. She then looked at you. Although she was already in her 30s, she had been well taken care of. The skin looks no different from that of someone in their 30s. And due to her age, she exuded a mature charm. Especially her expression at this moment, with tears in her eyes, looking pitiful. Xiao Mo, look at your servants. They actually dared to strike me. They really have the audacity of a bear and a leopard. You let them go. Meng Hu, fiercely, glared at them. And make this reckless person compensate me. Starting from 1 million, no less. However, Meng Hu didn't pay her any mind at all. He just bowed his head towards you. And you simply smiled slightly. Then you gestured calmly for him to back off. This person must be out of their mind. How will they speak after this rescue? Upon hearing this, Meng Hu's eyes instantly lit up. A cruel grin appeared at the corners of his mouth. Don't worry, young master. Saying this, he commanded his subordinates to forcefully drag BJ away. What are you doing? What do you want to do? What a pity, I couldn't help but step back. I dove into Lin Zhao's embrace. But, how strong are Meng Hu and the others? They just picked her up like a chick. They directly lifted her up. Lin Xiao still wanted to intervene. But after meeting Meng Hu's gaze, he suddenly shivered for no reason. He shrank his neck and dared not speak again. He let BJ be dragged aside. Then slap after slap landed wildly on BJ's face. BN's face suddenly swelled up. There was even some blood at the corner of her mouth. However, this did not deter Meng Hu at all. Lin Xiao couldn't bear to watch. Instead, he turned his gaze to you, wanting to plead. You, however, maintained a calm smile. It's quite exhausting to just stand here. Didn't Uncle Lin come to talk to me about something? Go ahead. You hadn't even glanced at BJ the whole time. Your face still held a charming smile. If it weren't for BJ's continuous screams nearby, Lin Zui even thought you were a friendly and approachable young man. The manor is large, featuring a pavilion under the stars. You casually came to life here. The waiting servant quickly brought over the untouched breakfast. Uncle Lin came here early this morning. Is there something you want to say? By the way, today's breakfast wasn't prepared at Uncle Lin's expense. He doesn't mind, right? You smiled as you looked at Lin Wei, listening to the sounds of BJ's screams nearby, associating it with your smile at this moment. Lin Xiao felt an inexplicable chill sweeping up from his feet, straight to the top of the head. You are much harsher than I imagined. He sat down trembling with fear. Lin Zui took a deep breath and mustered up the courage to say, Xiao Mo, oh, Yu Wei. I know about Yu Qing's situation as well. This matter is indeed the fault of those two ungrateful girls. I've already ordered them to reflect on their actions. When they return, I will definitely teach them a lesson. They are still quite young. Just forgive them this once. You sip your milk, appearing unconcerned. After putting down the cup, you calmly said, No, Uncle Lin, that's not true. I have no relationship with the three young ladies. How can we talk about forgiveness? Lin Zhao's expression stiffened. Xiao man, don't say things in anger. You grew up with Yu Wei and Yu Qing since childhood. After so many years of affection. Others may not understand them. Don't you understand them? Those two girls have feelings for you. Your gaze turned cold. Are you implying that I should be grateful? Lin Xiao shuddered and quickly waved his hand. That's not what I meant. You let out a cold laugh and said casually. Some things I might as well make clear. The Lin sisters are irrelevant to me. I just didn't expect it. Do you really think the Qin family is a sucker? While enjoying the benefits brought by the Qin family. While doing things that tarnish my Qin family's reputation. In fact, I also want to ask. Who gave you the courage? Was it Liang Jingru? You stood up and lightly slapped Lin Zhao's big face. Leaning forward, your gaze met Lin Zhao's. Don't forget. I can give you everything you currently have and take it all away as well. Some actions come with consequences. Moreover, this level can at most be considered business competition. You are not important enough for me to take special action against you. Take care of yourselves. There are even more exciting things waiting for you. Actually, up to now, you really haven't taken any initiative against the Lin family. Everything nowadays. It's just something I casually mentioned last night. The reason Lin Su doesn't need to exist. When you reach your position, many times, a single sentence can decide a person's life or death. This is the charm of power. Meng Hu casually nudges his body. It can easily crush a wax mosquito. Sipin felt troubled and frowned as she waved her hand. A group has been here early this morning, crying and laughing. Seeing this, I'm in a bad mood, so I throw them out. After saying this, you turn and leave. Lin Xiao stands there, staring blankly at your departing figure. Gritting his teeth, he trembles all over. He really couldn't understand why you could be so decisive. Not even giving his Lin family a sliver of a chance. Xiao Mo, I've watched you grow up. He still wanted to say something. But the security from the Hao family had already come up to restrain him. Along with BJ, whose mouth had been swollen from the beating, they walked towards the estate's exit. BJ had lost a few teeth from the beating. Her swollen mouth could only make soft whimpering sounds. The two of them were thrown out of the Yulong villa together. Watching the two rolling on the ground, Meng Hu disdainfully spat and planned to turn away. At this moment, Lin Xiao truly began to understand and quickly stepped forward, but was stopped by the bodyguards. With no other choice, he could only shout in the direction you were leaving. You can't treat me like this. You are in such clouds. You'll never be with my daughter in this lifetime. As soon as those words were spoken, all the bodyguards in the yard burst into laughter. Meng Hu shook his head and mocked. I really don't understand. Are your two daughters made of gold? Don't you find it funny to say such things? Over the years, although the Lin sisters have been very close to you, it was mostly the Lin sisters who took the initiative to approach you. When you went to school, the Lin sisters brought you loving meals every day. When you finished school, the Lin sisters were waiting for you at the school gate every day. When you were injured, the Lin sisters shamelessly came over to ask how you were doing. How is it in the eyes of the Lin family? Turned out that you are reluctant to part with the Lin sisters. You in the distance also felt quite helpless. As expected, the system doesn't deceive me. This world is indeed a female-oriented fantasy world. Otherwise, normal people wouldn't have such a bizarre thought process. Get lost, you're disturbing my mood too early in the morning. At this point, you paused. By the way, don't let unrelated personnel disturb my interest in the big deal. Lin was thrown out of the mansion by the bodyguard. Veins bulged on his face one after another. After all these years, this was his first time encountering such humiliation. His fist was tightly clenched. He really wanted to beat up the damn bodyguard in front of him. But thinking of the company on the verge of bankruptcy, and the imminent loss of wealth and glory, Lin couldn't help but take a deep breath. He knew he couldn't confront you. Even though things had come to this point, there was still a chance for a turnaround. In his eyes, you were merely still in a state of anger. The root of this matter ultimately lies with my 2 girls. As long as he brings his 2 daughters over to personally apologize to you, he doesn't believe that you won't soften your heart. After all, you are childhood sweethearts, having shared over 10 years of fondness. Lin Zui glanced towards the inside of the manor. Xiaoyang, I know you're still angry. Since you don't want to talk today, I'll come back another day. Meng Hu chuckled lightly. Then you can just give it a try. Let's see if our group can still handle things smoothly. Lin Zui inexplicably shuddered, no longer daring to stay here. Turning around, quickly leaving with the pig-headed BJ. You are drinking morning tea in the villa. Listening to the system's beeping sound in my mind. Although Kai Yuan has lost all its permissions now, it seems like it's not one to be idle. With nothing to do, it can only mumble whimsically in your mind. Occasionally listening to this guy's nonsense is a good way to kill time. It's also a decent way to pass the time. Master, are you really not planning to carry out the task? After all, the system's authority is completely in your hands. However, the tasks provided earlier were indeed thoughtfully considered. The Lin sisters do possess some rather good qualities. You asked in confusion. What qualities do the Lin sisters have? The system has an exploration function. As long as it's a protagonist or supporting character, you can instantly view all their information. It even includes some rather metaphysical aspects, such as skills related to soul, luck, lifespan, etc. The system paused for a moment before saying to you. The first aspect is luck. The second is lifespan. You frowned slightly. You don't care about luck, because you are the absolute child of destiny in this world. However, lifespan is something you could still seek to acquire. The system continued. According to the exploration results, the Lin sisters are both capable of living to a ripe old age. Forming partnerships with them, you might obtain 3 years of life. Just 3 years, it's not necessary at all. You shook your head, with your first SS physique. Even without the 10 years gifted by the system, you are at least destined to live to 100. You really don't care about these few years of life. At this moment, your phone rang. You took out your phone and saw a message in the notification bar. The message was sent by Long Zhantian. He has already arrived near the vacation island. Previously, you said that the Lin sisters should pay a bit of interest first. So, Long Zhantian flew abroad overnight. Now he is reporting the progress of the mission to you. The corners of your mouth lifted slightly, you know the good show is about to start. This morning, Lin Yuwei and Lin Yuqing noticed that something was wrong. During breakfast in the morning, Lin Yuwei discovered that her card could no longer be used. This action also made Lin Yuwei realize. You might really be angry. Otherwise, you wouldn't have frozen her card. However, even though she knows you're angry, Lin Yuwei still thinks this matter is just you being too petty. With no other choice, she had to take out the card her father gave her. But she was terrified to find out. Her biological father had also forcibly frozen all her XYQ. Overnight, the sisters became broke. Even the money for the last breakfast was still paid by Fu Yuze. The prices on the vacation island are high. A single breakfast amounts to tens of thousands. Therefore, Fu Yuze looked quite distressed when he paid. Lin Yuwei gently caressed Fu Yuze's head and promised. Don't worry, I'll call my dad for money in a bit. I'll pay you back tenfold then. There was a flash of excitement in Fu Yuze's eyes. Pretending to be understanding is fine. My sisters have already helped me a lot. It's my honor to have the chance to help my sister. Lin Yuwei couldn't help but feel inside. She compared you with him. If AMO were as sensible as you, that would be great. Looking at her sensible younger brother, she sighed quietly. After returning to the room, Lin Yuwei was about to call you, to question you about why you had blocked her card. But unfortunately, you couldn't be bothered to listen to any of this woman's nonsense. You had already blocked her. She had considered reaching out to her former wealthy friends. Oh, the people in this circle are either rich or noble. Just their pocket money is a sum that others can only dream of in a lifetime. To lend a little support to Lin Yuwei and others, they could still live a life above the rest. However, the wealthy young men inside all had one thing in common. They all made excuses to refuse to assist the Lin sisters. Some even hung up the moment they saw a call from the Lin family. They couldn't even be bothered to answer and just hung up. This left Lin Yuwei somewhat incredulous. You should know that usually these people would be all over her with flattery. How dare they brush her off like this today? Normally, they would call her their good sister. When something happens, they would be eager to cut ties, right? The Lin sisters were completely unaware. The elite circle is that small. Who in the entire capital doesn't know you've threatened to bankrupt the Lin family? Everyone is a businessman and understands that profit comes first. There won't be anyone foolish enough to offend you for a mere Lin family. Lin Yuqing put down her phone in despair. None of the cards were usable anymore. They didn't even have any cash on them. If they couldn't secure a room tonight, they would be kicked out of the hotel. How about we contact Dad? After all, we are still Dad's daughters. It's impossible for him to ignore us. Lin Yuqing called Lin Xiao, acting coy. However, just as she dialed Lin Zhao's number, she was immediately met with a barrage of anger on the other end. Lin Zhao's tone was so furious it seemed he wanted to tear Lin Yuqing apart. He had just suffered a tremendous humiliation at the Qin family. Although he felt an immense rage towards you, ultimately, it all stemmed from these two reckless daughters. How could Lin Xiao possibly not be furious? Do you even dare to call me? Do you know that because of you two sisters, our Lin family is about to face a disaster? You troublemaker, I don't care where you are or what you're doing right now. Bring your sister and come back immediately with the money. Otherwise, I'll forget I have two daughters like you. The case has already reached the vacation island. Following him back. On the other end of the call, Lin Xiao was furious. After dropping a harsh remark, he immediately hung up the phone. Last night, Lin Xiao had already sent someone, planning to bring back Lin Yuqing and Lin Wei, along with that good-for-nothing Fu Yuze. Calculating the time, it has now arrived. At this moment, Lin Yuqing's expression was stiff, and her eyes were red and swollen. Is this still the top handsome guy, being cursed so angrily by Lin Suo? Feeling deeply wronged inside, the two sisters were both in disbelief. Over such a trivial matter, do these people really have to react like this? She really couldn't understand. Are they really so untrustworthy in the eyes of their own family? Is it true that the two of them are not worthy of trust? Sister, what should we do? Should we go back? Lin Yuqing is young. This is the first time she has been scolded so harshly. Her mind was completely foggy, and she had no idea what to do. Lin Yuwei still hesitated. But Yuze needs us to be there for him too. At this moment, the doorbell of the room rang. Lin Yuqing thought it was Yuze arriving. He opened the door. Standing outside were 4 or 5 strangers he didn't recognize at all. Who are you looking for? Did you come to the wrong place? Lin Yuqing asked curiously. But the people at the door didn't say much. They only raised a cruel grin at the corners of their mouths. Then, in a flash, faster than the speed of sound, they pulled out a syringe and inserted it into Lin Yuqing's neck. In an instant, Lin Yuqing felt the whole world spinning. She then lost consciousness. In her last thoughts, she heard her sister's cry. But in the next moment, her sister's voice abruptly stopped. It was clear that her sister's fate was no different from her own. Meanwhile, in the room next door at the hotel, Fu Yuze had just finished taking a shower. Standing in front of the mirror, looking at my flawless skin and delicate features. In every way, I am considered handsome. Long Yu revealed a pitiful and adorable expression. This further ignited the protective instincts of the Lin sisters. Fu Yuze took out a packet of powder from his pocket. At the same time, a wicked smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Tonight, he plans to put something in the wine, completely seducing the Lin sisters to surrender to him. Fu Yuze carried 2 bottles of red wine, already laced with drugs. He arrived outside the Lin sisters' door. Surprisingly, he found the door wasn't locked. Are you waiting for me? A smile appeared at the corner of Fu Yuze's mouth as he pushed open the door. Surprisingly, this was beyond his expectations. There was no sign of the Lin sisters in the room. Fu Yuze couldn't help but frown. Logically, wherever they went, the Lin sisters should have taken him along. While pondering, he suddenly noticed something on the bedside table. A note pressed underneath the lamp. It contained only a brief sentence. Want the lives of these 2 women. Just bring 1 million to the following location. The moment he saw the paper, Fu Yuze felt as if his mind had exploded. He sucked in a breath in disbelief. He never expected that there would be a kidnapping occurring on this vacation island. Even more surprising was that the Lin sisters would become the targets of the kidnappers. At that moment, Fu Yuze understood. His legs even began to shake. He was just a freshly graduated college student. Where had he ever seen such a situation? He considered reporting it to the authorities right away. But just as that thought crossed his mind, his phone rang. The caller was an unknown number. Filled with curiosity, Fu Yuze chose to answer. On the other end of the line was a deep, electronic voice. It was clearly modified. They wanted the Lin sisters to bring 1 million over. Fu Yuze's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't help but shiver. Oh my, these kidnappers even investigated him. Because during this time, the Lin sisters had been coming and going sporadically. The total amount transferred to you just happened to be 1 million. We won't ask for much more either. At the same time, a woman's crying voice came through the phone. Yuje, it's Yuqing. Please come and save me and my sister, I'm so scared. Yuje, they want 1 million. You definitely have it, save us first. I will repay you after we get back. Fu Yuje was originally thinking whether to take the 1 million and escape from here directly. 1 million is no small amount for an ordinary person. As for whether the Lin sisters live or die, what does it have to do with him? However, just now, Lin Yue's words dispelled this thought. If he really used the remaining 1 million, take them out to redeem the Lin family sisters, what he could gain later would far exceed 1 million. Who knows, maybe out of gratitude, he would have a chance to marry the Lin sisters. At that time, the Lin family's assets would also be his. How many millions is Xing's worth? Wealth stirs the heart. Isn't he going through all this trouble to get close to the Lin sisters just for money? A mere million could never satisfy his desires. What he wants is more money, the entire Lin family. Taking a deep breath, Fu Yujie immediately spoke. Sister Yue, Sister Yuqing, you can rest assured. Even if I have to sacrifice my own life, I will still save you. His words touched the hearts of the Lin sisters. Alright, since we've reached an agreement, you should bring the money over now. After the call was hung up, Fu Yujie clenched his fists tightly. He vaguely felt that this kidnapping incident might not be a bad thing. If handled well, it could even be the key to his rise. Without any hesitation, Fu Yujie hurried to prepare the cash. Without any disturbance, Fu Yujie quickly went to prepare the cash. Meanwhile, in a dimly lit spacious abandoned basement, a man in black hung up the phone. He then looked towards. The Lin sisters, tied to their chairs, had a smirk on their faces. Ladies, please be patient. After saying this, he turned and left. After tightly locking the basement door, he then bowed to a man and said, "The boss has already made the deal." The man slowly raised his head. It was Long Zhantian. He glanced towards the other side of the basement door and sighed. I don't understand why the young master is orchestrating this scene. In Long Zhantian's eyes, nothing is. It can't be resolved by killing a whole family. If the Lin sisters offended the young master, eliminating them directly would suffice. As for Fu Yujie, a dump truck could take care of him. Why bother going to such lengths for this charade? He shook his head and sighed. Perhaps this is the difference between the young master and me. Do high-end players enjoy playing with people's hearts? Inside the Dragon Manor, you are sitting in a sealed room. A bottle of red wine is placed on the table in front of you. Directly in front are 4 large screens. First, the top of the screens records that it is the abandoned underground warehouse on the resort island at this moment. The county has long been equipped with cameras installed by Long Zhantian, broadcasting the good show that is about to take place from all angles. Master, I don't understand what the purpose of doing all this is. Could it be that he wants to direct and star in a hero saves the beauty scene? And then make the Lin sisters face reality and return to his side? The mechanical voice of the system in my mind carries a hint of doubt. With a change in your expression, do you think I look like a fool? You gently swirl the red wine in your glass. I just want to have a little fun. The Lin sisters' affairs at most just disgusted you. It's like being bitten by a mosquito. You could easily swat them away. It's not even worth your time to take revenge on them. Then there's the lifespan of the Lin sisters. You certainly won't carry out the foolish tasks given by the system. You won't chase after the Lin sisters like a sycophant. Therefore, you need to come up with a plan. Make the Lin sisters grovel on the ground and beg for mercy. Only then can you transfer the Lin sisters' lifespan to yourself. Not just the 3 years of lifespan given by the system. What you want is more. From the actual abandoned underground warehouse. Half an hour quickly passed. The Lin sisters, bound to their chairs, heard a noise. Sister, it's Yuza. Yuza has come to save us. Then the main door was kicked open. Fu Yujie, blindfolded. We have arrived here under the lead of a group of masked men in black. Yuza, come save me quickly, I'm so scared. Lin Yuqing shouted with a trembling voice. Thanks to you this time, Yunnan. Otherwise, we would be in more misfortune than fortune. Lin Yue bit her lip, feeling a sense of relief. Grateful to have Fu Yujie by her side. Otherwise, she wouldn't know what to do. Don't worry, sisters. I will definitely bring you out safely. Fu Yujie smiled at the 2 sisters. He then looked at the masked Long Zhantian. Bosses, I have brought the money. Can we release the people now? Long Zhantian shrugged his shoulders. Of course, we are very trustworthy. A smirk appeared on Long Zhantian's face beneath the mask. He then gestured for his subordinates to release them. However, one subordinate, as he approached the Lin sisters, suddenly, he came to a halt. Boss, who should we release? Under everyone's gaze, the younger brother asked this question with a smile. In that moment, Fu Yujie and the Lin sisters couldn't help but flinch. Boss, what do you mean? Fu Yujie swallowed hard. He cautiously inquired. Long Zhantian's tone remained calm. It's literal, just choose one. Which of these 2 women should we let go? Fu Yujie stared at Long Zhantian in disbelief. I offered 1 million. Long Zhantian let out a cold laugh. Yes, I did say 1 million. But I never said 1 million could free 2. Fu Xinze was instantly enraged. He grabbed Long Zhantian by the collar. But Long Zhantian was even faster with his kick. In an instant, a swift kick was unleashed. It ruthlessly smashed into Fu Yujie's neck. A tremendous force struck, and Fu Yujie only felt a moment of confusion in his mind. Immediately after, his whole body flew out like a broken kite. He crashed heavily against the wall, spitting out blood. The Lin sisters watched this scene and began to understand. While feeling sorry for the Fu Yuje who was kicked away, they also began to worry about their own situation. Long Zhantian disdainfully patted his collar. What the hell, still daring to make a move. He gestured behind him with a flick of his hand. Go, break this guy's leg. With his head spinning, Fu Yuje was scared. It wasn't until now that he recalled that the people standing here were not exactly kind. This is not domestically but overseas. And these people are all a bunch of ruthless individuals who lick blood on the edge of a knife. I was wrong, big brother. He knelt on the ground, wanting to beg for mercy. But Long Zhantian's subordinates don't care about that. They came up to Fu Yuje, holding a thick steel pipe. Without mercy, the steel pipe came down. In an instant, the entire abandoned underground warehouse could hear Fu Yuje's hysterical screams. Even the Lin sisters were not afraid to watch. A few minutes later, looking at Fu Yuje, who was slumped on the ground, holding his right foot, Long Zhantian began to urge. Don't waste my time, hurry up and choose. 1,000,000 can only save one. Don't worry, we keep our promises. Hurry up and choose, your time is running out. If you can't make a choice in 3 minutes, then none of you can leave. He glanced at the time on his watch. Long Zhantian issued a final ultimatum to several people. His tone was extremely cold. The gaze revealed beneath the mask was so merciless. Just a single glance exchanged with Long Zhantian. Fu Yuje felt an icy chill all over his body. He knew this wasn't a joke. There was no space for any negotiation. Today, he had to choose between Lin Yue and Lin Yuqing. But who should he choose? How was he supposed to choose in this situation? No matter whom he chose, it would be like pushing the other person into hell. In an instant, the pressure felt like a mountain weighing down on Fu Yuje's shoulders. Plus, he had just had a leg broken. Fu Yuje couldn't stop trembling all over. This brother. I beg you, let both of them go. Long Zhantian kicked Fu Yuje away with a cold sneer. There are 2.5 minutes left. Hurry up and choose while I still have a bit of patience. After speaking, he walked over to a nearby sofa and sat down, crossing his legs. He watched the unfolding drama with great interest. He seemed to understand a little. Why don't you agree with the Uniandon approach to death? Just give this group of scoundrels a ZD directly. Nothing is as satisfying as the scene unfolding now. You bunch of HDs, go back on your word. The rule of forcing you to choose one is simply too cruel. Lin Yuqing began to curse vigorously. Long Zhantian wouldn't indulge her. He signaled his subordinate to go up and slap her. Long Zhantian's subordinates. Which of them isn't a well-known figure on the battlefield? The sturdy arms are even thicker than the thighs of these two women. A slap would leave one dizzy at worst, or spewing blood at best. Lin Yue's lips were slightly parted in shock. A smear of blood hung at the corner of her mouth. Even Fu Yuje, who was trembling in place. I have never been knocked to the ground by a slap. He knelt down in a series of pleas for mercy. Big brother, it wasn't me who insulted you. It's not my business, don't hit me. At that moment, Fu Yuje was about to cry from fear. He was just a scheming graduate after all. He had never seen a scene like this before. He didn't even dare to look directly at the person hitting him. Through the gaps between his arms, his bloodshot eyes were fixed on Lin Yuqing, who had just furiously scolded him. Doesn't this foolish woman realize the situation yet? Their fortunes are controlled by others, and they still engage in soft activities. At the same time, he also came to resent the Lin sisters deep down. If it weren't for them, why would I have to be beaten here like a dog? If I had known these people were so ruthless, he wouldn't have come here at all. He would have long gone away with 1,000,000. Now the 1,000,000 is gone, and so is one of his legs. At this point, there really is no way out. He must save at least one person, and gain enough benefits from the person he saves, wholly focused. Damn it. Who to save? Who to save to maximize the benefit? Fu Yuje was frantically thinking inside. Lin Yue also understood Fu Yuje's difficulties. She gritted her teeth and said, "You just want money, don't you? I am the eldest daughter of the Lin family in Xindu. As long as you release us today, I will give you 10,000,000. Long Zhantian's men exchanged glances and couldn't help but laugh out loud. Miss Lin, do you think we're fools? Release the person, and I might still believe you'll give me 10,000,000. I have no interest in playing games with you. For me, there are more ways to cash in than just this. Both ladies are so beautiful. They'd be hot commodities no matter where they're sold." Upon hearing this, the Lin sisters' hearts sank. They originally thought these guys were just after money. They at least expected some rationality. But they didn't expect these people to be so ruthless. The two sisters both knew. With their looks, they could create immense value if sold abroad. Lin Yue gritted her teeth tightly, trying to negotiate. She still had one last card up her sleeve. "Do you know who you've kidnapped?" Lin Yue fixed her gaze on Long Zhantian. Long Zhantian raised an eyebrow. "It seems you two are quite important after all. As if seeing hope, Lin Yue shouted. Do you know the Su family of the great Xia? The undisputed #1 noble family. We are the fiancés of the Qin family. Aren't you afraid of the Qin family's revenge for treating us this way? Long Zhantian and his lackeys were stunned. He thought Lin Yue might bring out some kind of backing. Or perhaps some big shot she knew would apply pressure. But he never imagined it would actually be you. For a moment, Long Zhantian was completely confused. After thinking for a long time, he still couldn't figure it out. Where did this foolish woman from the Lin family get the audacity? How dare she still wave the Qin family's banner? Doesn't she know what she has done? Seeing Long Zhantian fall into a brief silence, Lin Yue was even more certain of your reputation. It works even on a vacation island abroad. You should know just how powerful the Qin family is, right? Lin Yue pressed her advantage. Lin Yuqing, beside her, clutched at the opportunity like a lifeline. That's right, you're still not letting us go. Fourth brother won't let you off the hook. Seeing a turn in events, Fu Yuje quickly chimed in with delight. Yes, I'm a student sponsored by the Qin family. I have a good relationship with the Qin family. Brothers, for the sake of the Qin family, let us go. In an instant, all eyes turned to Long Zhantian. Even Long Zhantian couldn't help but get up and applaud. He stood up, approached Lin Yue, bent over, and stared at her. You are the Qin family's fiancé. He waved his hand, signaling his subordinate to bring Lin Yue's phone over. Then call me now. If the Qin family is really willing to intervene, then they will let you go immediately. In front of the surveillance camera at Yulong Manor, you are sitting with your legs crossed. With a calm gaze, looking at Lin Yue in the screen. When hearing Lin Yue pulling on her own skin, you couldn't help but smile. Master, it seems the Lin sisters still have you in their hearts. The system's electronic voice rang in your mind. Initially, it didn't understand what you actually wanted to do. Until just now, when it saw that scene and realized. This is clearly wanting to use external forces. To help the Lin sisters recognize their true feelings. It must be said that this tactic is indeed better than the subtle retreat of letting go to capture. Only after losing does one learn to cherish. At that moment, the phone in front of you started ringing. The caller ID showed an unknown number. Lin Yuqing's original phone number was long since blocked by you. It was impossible for her to call through. Therefore, with no other option, Lin Yuqing had to borrow Fu Yuje's phone to call. You still want to wait and see the show, huh? Naturally, it's impossible to answer. Instead, you watch the surveillance footage with great interest. As the prompt sound continues to echo in the footage, Lin Yue's expression grows increasingly anxious. Meanwhile, Lin Yuqing and Fu Yuje's faces in the room are becoming more and more desperate. Now, you have become their only hope. If they can't get in touch, then they're really done for. Answer the phone, answer the phone. Lin Yue hung up the phone. Then, a big call was made. She was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. Master, are you really not going to answer? The system asked curiously. It seems the Lin sisters have realized their mistake. You let out a long sigh, placing your glass on the table, and said calmly. To be honest, I really don't understand that this is a tragic story system. Your mind isn't normal either. Eyes fixed on the monitor. You disdainfully shook your head. They don't even realize their mistakes. They only know they are going to die. Besides, even if they knew they were wrong, what of it? Just knowing they were wrong means I have to let them go. The system's voice fell into a brief pause, then hesitantly said. Master, I have to suggest something. What a wicked thought to have. You shrugged indifferently. I never considered myself to be very righteous. Only elementary school kids and fools believe this. Lin Yue desperately made over a dozen calls. But after a string of busy signals, Lin Yue was completely despairing. How could this be? How could Amon not answer my call? Is he still angry? Can't he tell that I'm in such a rush because something must be wrong? At such a critical moment, he still cares about such a trivial matter. Lin Yue was very annoyed. The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. In this desperate moment, you became her only hope. She thinks that even if you're angry, you should still answer her call. How can this man be so petty? I've said it countless times. My sister and I have nothing to do with Fu Yuje. Why don't you believe it? Brother, can I borrow your phone to make another call? This time, I guarantee my brother will definitely answer. Lin Yue looked at Long Zhantian and pleaded. However, Long Zhantian slapped him mercilessly. So you are, damn it, the fiancé of the Qin family? Lin Yue was struck and fell to the ground. Long Zhantian stepped forward again. He slapped her again with the back of his hand. I was wondering why I hadn't heard about the engagement of the young master of the Qin family. So it turns out to be a farce after all. Lin Yue's mouth was bloody from the beating. Long Zhantian stood up and flexed his wrist. Alright, the farce ends here. I'm too lazy to watch your little act. Has that foolish boy over there made his choice yet? If you haven't decided, then all three of you should stay. On the other side, Fu Yuje was also lifted up by Long Zhantian's lackey. Beneath the masks, pairs of menacing eyes were fixed on Fu Yuje. It was time to make the decision. Fu Yuje trembled all over. His gaze turned towards Lin Yue and Lin Yuqing. What should he do? How should he choose? Long Zhantian immediately began counting down from 3. For a moment, it felt as if the air itself had become stagnant. Lin Yue, who had been knocked to the ground, trembled as she tried to get up. But he trembles due to his courage. This is truly the moment of life and death crisis. It's easy to imagine who will be left behind. To become the plaything of a bunch of scummy men. Bought and sold by LR. That would be a place more terrifying than death. Lin Yuqing is equally terrified. She really hopes Fu Yuje will choose her. Yuje, choose me. Lin Yue suddenly shouted. I am the eldest daughter of the Lin family, the first heir. I like you more than my sister does, Yuje. Lin Yuqing's heart collapsed at those words. The child, who had tightly closed his eyes, suddenly opened them wide. He looked at his sister in disbelief. I choose Sister Yue. In that final moment, Fu Yuje made his decision. Lin Yue was released on the spot. Supporting each other, they trembled together with Fu Yuje. Leaving this basement, Lin Yuqing was tied to a chair, her gaze dull and lifeless. The door to the basement slowly closed. The sister was rescued, and dear Fu Yuje was saved too. But the price was that she would be left in hell forever. Inside the Dragon Manor, Lin Yuqing's expression at the moment was captured on the huge surveillance screen. Jiang Zhang's face was shrouded in darkness. Only those eyes are becoming more and more gloomy. This is human nature. People can accept their own voluntary surrender. But they can never accept the betrayal of their closest loved ones. To save my life, Lin Yue personally pushed her own sister into hell. A seed named hatred was sown in Lin Yuqing's heart. Your lips are slightly curved in a gentle smile. This good show makes you feel delighted. At this moment, the system itself feels a shiver of excitement. His eyes are devoid of love and feeling. At this moment, in the system's view, he's just a devil toying with people's feelings. On the other side, the Lin family. Lin looks like an ant on a hot skillet, anxious and restless. Not long ago, the housekeeper called saying they were on a holiday island. Yet, no sign of the Lin sisters could be found. It was as if they vanished into thin air. Suddenly, Lin Xiao thought of his 2 daughters running away with Fu Yuje. Currently, his 2 daughters are his only hope to turn the tide. If they don't come back, how will they justify themselves to the Qin family? Just then, Lin Wei's phone rang. It was the housekeeper calling. Lin Wei eagerly picked up the phone. However, the news he received was somewhat hard to believe. His 2 daughters had been kidnapped. That's not the end of it. The other party actually went so far as to take away his little daughter, Lin Yuqing. Even Lin Yue was desperately saved by Fu Yuje. Lin Xiao was instantly frozen in place. He never expected that his daughters would encounter such a situation. The elder daughter escaped from the jaws of danger. The younger daughter's life or death is unknown. Fortunately, Lin Yue and Fu Yuje have already been taken to the hospital under the escort of the housekeeper. After examination, apart from some superficial injuries, there were no major issues. Fu Yuje ended up breaking a leg. And due to the severity of his injuries, he would probably have to spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. Lin Xiao was not concerned about this. As long as Lin Yue is okay, that's all that matters. Forcing down his shock and anger, he grunted. You stay there and keep watch. You must bring back the young lady by the day after tomorrow at the latest. Also, check on Lin Yuqing for me. I must know who dares to kidnap someone from the Lin family. Things have been happening one after another these past few days. The company is on the verge of bankruptcy. My youngest daughter is still missing without a trace. I went to the Qin family and was met with such cover-up. Even someone with iron lungs would nearly have been blown up by anger. Thinking carefully, isn't it all because of these 2 foolish daughters? If it weren't for them insisting on going on vacation with that freeloading Fu Yuje, how could all these subsequent events have happened? He despised Fu Yuje to the core. But now it's too late to say anything. Immediate damage control is necessary. At this moment, inside a hospital room on the vacation island, taking advantage of the butler being out to contact Lin Rui. In the hospital room, Lin Yue is glaring fiercely at Fu Yuje. Yuza, I know this matter is difficult for both of us to accept. But this matter must not be leaked. She just fabricated a kidnapping scenario. In this story, there are no conditions of choosing one or the other. What exists is only the ruthless kidnappers. They want to sell the 2 sisters to some lawless place. But they were intercepted by the timely arrival of Fu Yuje. In the end, Fu Yuza desperately rescued Lin Yue. But his leg was broken. And Lin Yuqing, unfortunately, was taken away, her fate unknown. One can only say it like this without a solution. Otherwise, if the matter is exposed, it won't just be Fu Yuje who will be held accountable. Lin Yue won't be in a good position either. In order to save his own life, he threw his own sister into the abyss. Just this alone is enough to make Lin Yue be reviled by everyone. It could even impact her own inheritance rights. She loves her sister. But that is under the condition that her sister poses no threat. Without a doubt, as this incident unfolds, Lin Yuqing has become a stumbling block for Lin Yue. I understand, Yue's sister. Fu Yujie has a cast on his right leg and looks despondent. I just don't know how Yuqing's sister is doing. Lin Yue's gaze is unpredictable. There is fear and heartache, but more than that, there is resolve. To be honest, she really hopes Lin Yuqing dies at the hands of those robbers. It would be best if she never comes back for the rest of her life. Don't think about this anymore. If she really comes back, your outcome probably won't be good either. Lin Yue said softly. Fu Yujie also understood. This matter shouldn't be something to dwell upon. Just now was merely put on a facade. He wanted to see Lin Yue's attitude. After all, they are sisters. If she vented her anger on him later, it would only bring trouble to herself. Since it was confirmed that Lin Yue was in the same boat as him, there was no need to bring up this matter anymore. I understand, Sister Yue. In this state, you're my only hope. You won't abandon me, right? Lin Yue glanced at Fu Yu's leg, which was cast in a plaster. A trace of heartache flashed in her eyes. As long as I'm here, no one will bully you. After all, you saved my life. At this point, Lin Yue couldn't help but recall you. At that time, she called you so many times. Yet you refused to answer any of them. Otherwise, how could that group of kidnappers dare to break Fu Yujie's leg? How could my own sister possibly be taken away by those bandits? This time, Amo has really gone too far. Just thinking of you, Lin Yue, makes me clench my fists. Once my injuries heal in a few days, I will definitely confront you face to face. This time, you must apologize to Fu Yujie. Si Ping was still unsatisfied and thought fiercely in her heart. No, I must kneel and apologize. Otherwise, I could never forgive him in this lifetime. You still don't know what's happening in the capital, Yuan. I am already being resented now. After the show, you turned off the display screen. Then, you connected to Long Zhantian's communication. Give Lin Yuqing a little torment, then bring her back tomorrow. Make sure to control yourself, don't kill her. She still has some value, right? I really want to see the scene of the Lin sisters turning against each other. Long Zhantian displayed a cruel and evil smile. The situation has reached a temporary conclusion. After you change into your suit, you plan to head to the company to take a look. Just as you were about to leave, you received a familiar phone call. Young master, I've arrived at the airport. Could you come pick me up? The girl on the other end of the line cautiously asked. You were taken aback, feeling it was somewhat unbelievable. Bing Yao, you've arrived at the airport in the capital. Is your eyesight better now? The girl on the other end sounded a bit cheerful and excited. Thanks to the young master. The expert you invited has exceptional medical skills. I can see it now. At the same time, in your mind, the system abruptly popped up a series of messages. Master, the system has detected the protagonist of a dark romance. Name, Xia Bingli. Identity, daughter of Xia Hongjun from Magic City. Past experiences. 18 years ago, Xia Hongjun and his original wife, Su Qiya, had a daughter. However, on her birthday, she was swapped with the daughter of Su Qiya's wealthy friend. They switched their own daughter with Xia Bingyao. And the twisted mindset of the friend. Tortured from a young age, causing Xia Bingyao to become emaciated and blind, almost dying 3 years ago, later saved by the host. I must say, the system's probing function is indeed quite useful. You vaguely remember it was a winter 3 years ago. You encountered a stunning girl, a pitiful girl abandoned by her parents. Taking a deep breath, you then called the driver. Go to the company later. First, pick up Xiaoguan at the airport. Long Zhantian is on a business trip. The man driving you became known as code name Mighty Tiger. Has the young lady's eyesight been cured? Meng Hu was somewhat surprised. Even though you've always seen Xia Bingkwai as a sister, she never acted like it. Instead, she got along well with every servant of the Yuan family, and was very much beloved by them. Yeah, probably that person just managed to see it, and couldn't wait to run back. The young lady must be thinking of the young master, Meng Hu said with a smile. He then started the car and headed towards the airport. Inside the airport, a girl dressed in a white shirt and blue pleated skirt was waiting in the lounge. The moment she saw you, her eyes seemed to light up. In the past, she couldn't see your face. But at this moment, she recognized you at a glance. It was a strange feeling. A sense of smell, sound, and touch. Stemming from a woman's sixth sense. Even if she couldn't see anything, she could still sense your presence the moment you got close. Xia Bingxian excitedly ran towards you. Then she gave you a tight hug around the waist. You were momentarily taken aback. The little girl has grown up. She's even learned to play rough. After all, she's now an 18-year-old girl. She's pretty much fully developed as she should be. After a while, Xia Bingyao finally let you go. She shyly lowered her head. Sorry, young master, I got a bit too excited. Yu laughed and gently poked her nose. How come you're so bold? The eyes just came back quietly after a short while. You didn't even stay to observe for a while. Xia Bingyao gently lifted her head. I know my own body. Moreover, I can't wait to see the young master's true appearance at the first opportunity. The nearby tiger, feeling somewhat hurt, clutched its heart. It seems the young lady only has eyes for the young master. I was clearly the young lady's mentor before. When Xia Muyao first came to Susu, always thinking about how to prove her worth. Qian has learned a lot, including martial arts. What is surprising is, Xia Bingyao, who couldn't be seen at the time, was actually a genius in martial arts. Her senses were far more acute than those of ordinary people, even though she couldn't see. I can also quickly detect the enemy's attack by relying on my hearing. As you held Xia Bingyao's hand and prepared to return to the Qin family estate, a sudden SD sound in the airport caught your attention. Turning your head, you found the bustling airport. There was unexpectedly a chase happening. A dozen men in black suits and sunglasses were desperately chasing a young man with a buzz cut. The young man was covered in injuries. Mi Ning's steps were a bit unsteady. Even stumbling several times, he was nearly about to fall. It was evident that his body was very weak. His whole face was pale and weak, resembling that of a patient. As expected, with such physical condition, he couldn't possibly escape capture by more than a dozen strong men. The young man stumbled and fell directly to the ground. Then he was pinned down by two men in black. With graduation just around the corner, you actually want to escape. Are you trying to delay your graduation? One of the men in black leaned down and whispered in the young man's ear. Upon hearing the words, delay graduation, the young man seemed to recall something like a dream. His whole body started shivering uncontrollably. No, no. But I really don't want to go back to that place. Please, let me go. The young man kept pleading desperately. However, the man in black remained unmoved. What are you talking about? You were sent by Miss Xia for training. Of course, after graduation, you have to return to the Xia family, right? Saying this, he unceremoniously lifted the young man up, facing the gaze of everyone around and the airport security's inquiries. The man in black quickly pulled out a ZJ. Everyone, don't worry, we are from Yunshan Psychiatric Hospital. This person is one of our patients. He wants to escape for some reason. He is afraid it will have a negative impact on society. That's why we promptly initiated the capture. Sorry to disturb everyone. The man in black's excuse was flawless. Additionally, with E assisting him, he quickly gained the airport security's trust. They allowed him to take the young man away. They were completely unaware of the fear in the young man's eyes. The farce ends here. Nearby, Yu curiously leaned over the airport railing, watching over their slightly flavored eyes. The Yenshan Mental Hospital sign is merely a facade. The true nature of this mental hospital should be called Yenshan Academy. It is located in the remote mountains outside the imperial capital. Within the circle, it has a very down-to-earth name, Male Virtue Academy. It seems to be a place for cultivating elites. But in reality, it is for those wealthy heiresses and noblewomen. To torment the disliked illegitimate children. Or a disobedient child. Or a place for overstepping lovers. Although it sounds quite absurd. But one must say that the existence of something surely has its reasons. At least this Men's Virtue Academy does have an audience. Meanwhile, a prompt from the system once again comes to your mind. Master, you're in luck. You've encountered a male protagonist from a tormenting story. Details are as follows. Name, Su Zian. Gender, male. Identity, the male lead descended from the wealthy Xia family in Magic City, Xia Ruoguai. After experiencing a whirlwind romance, Summer Ruhua, the daughter of the wealthy Xia family in the Magic City, fell in love at first sight. Only because the gap in their social status was too great among the three. Additionally, Summer Ruhua's male friend, Ji Boda, instigated matters further. He suggested that Su Zian was only approaching Xia Hang for the Xia family's fortune, due to the experiences of her biological father, Xia Hongjun. This made Summer Ruhua easily believe Ji Boda's instigation. From then on, she began to be wary of Su Zian. Even more so, a year ago. Summer Ruhua felt that Su Zian was too immature. Later, at Ji Boda's suggestion, Summer Yanyan personally sent Su Zian to the Male Virtue Academy. After that, Su Zian endured torment for a full year. Upon reading this, your brows furrow. I never expected to encounter a fictional male protagonist here. Moreover, it seems this male lead has been treated quite badly. The Men's Virtue Academy claims to be an institution. In reality, it's just a filthy hellhole. The students there are not even worthy of being called human. They're more like livestock. After a year, who knows how much this guy has suffered. Of course, you aren't interested in that. What you're brewing is this story. That woman named Xia Ruhan. She is the daughter of the wealthy Xia Hongjun from the Magic City. She is also Xia Hongjuan's daughter with his mistress. She even swapped life roles with Xia Bingyao. Initially, after you learned about Xia Muyao's situation, you intended to help resolve it. However, this matter was later stopped by Xia Bingyao 7. It wasn't out of Xia Bingyao's good intentions. To the Qianxia family, especially the Xiahong military, to the adulterers, Xia Bingyao would like nothing more than to tear them apart. She wants to rely on her own hands to make the price.